following program contains sexual content. Viewer discretion advised. Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
You're accusing your mother of a crime, and if she is guilty, she could and should go to prison. I intend to get to the bottom of this.
She went to Sedona.
I did do mushrooms before the retreat.
When she came back,
You say that your mother not only molested your daughter, but you, your sister.
Never.
the accusations came out.
I would love to be able to bring her shame to light.
I don't have any shame.
That's the root of narcissistic behaviors and tendencies, codependent, trauma-bonded, abusive relationships.
Can you say that without the mumbo-jumbo?
They're all feeding into her narc monster right now.
I'm really curious if you know what you're talking about.
You were saying stuff about where Mimi touched you, right?
But my always hurts, so I don't want her to do it again.
Well, Terry, that was your daughter, Kelly, asking your 5-year-old granddaughter if you molested her. Did you sexually abuse your granddaughter?
No, sir. Did not.
At any way, in any time?
No, never. Never. I put Desitin on her bottom. That's it.
At no time were you ever inappropriate with her?
At no time whatsoever. I wouldn't be going on primetime television in front of millions of people if I had anything to hide.
So how did this accusation come about?
I have no idea. They went on a trip to Arizona, came back about 10 days later, and the next 24 hours later, she went and reported me to Child Protective Services.
But you're saying didn't happen, no way, no how.
No way, no how. There's no way.
Well, sadly, Terry, you're not alone. During the 17 seasons that we've been doing this show, I've spoken to hundreds of guests being accused of unspeakable things. Some of them were guilty, but frankly, many were not. Just like you claim to be, many claim to be innocent. Take a look.
What's happening to my 3-year-old daughter is a mother's worst nightmare. Anthony sexually assaulted our daughter. My daughter told me that her daddy stuck his and it really hurt her. I want to expose him for everything that he is.
But not allegedly. This was medically proven already.
Until he has been charged, then it is allegation. Did you molest your daughter?
Absolutely not, 100%. This has been coached from day one.
Nobody's coaching.
You are out of your mind.
Alexis told me that her dad gave her always in her shoo-shoo, and that is what she called her private parts at that time.
Did you or did you not molest your daughter?
100% did not.
Were you sexually inappropriate with her in any way?
Never.
I believe that when I was 18, my father did rape me. I was with my brother and his girlfriend getting completely wasted. And then when I came home, I jumped into bed and passed out. I had a dream that somebody was having sex with me, and it felt very real. That's when I woke up and saw my father standing there.
You are 100% sure he raped you?
I'm 100% sure.
I'm going to ask you straight up. Did you rape your daughter?
No.
Unfounded allegations, which just may be the case here today. Molesting your granddaughter isn't the only thing Kelly is accusing you of, so let's take a look at what else she says you're guilty of doing.
I cut my mother out of my life because she molested my daughter. I think my mother touched my daughter's private parts.
There are many reasons that I do not trust you. I had asked you multiple times not to have her sleep in the bed with you.
I believe I was sexually molested by my mother as well. When I was around the age of 4 years old, she wanted to hug me. I did not want to hug her. I did not like the energy that I felt around her. I had a very strong internal no. I just did not want this woman touching me. I believe that she has sexually molested not just myself and my daughter, but I believe that she has sexually molested other people. I had connected with a psychic. She looked at my mother's picture. She said, "This woman has a dark heart, and she doesn't feel bad about what she does." She said, "Your mother blocked your sexual power when you were a baby, so I need to do an energy clearing on you." My mother is a covert narcissist. I feel there are 3 layers to Terrie. What she shows is the false self. Under that is what I call the shame narc monster. My mother has launched a series of smear campaigns against me. She has told people I am a neglectful mother, that I was in a cult. I strongly feel that she needs to take accountability for her actions. Everybody trusts her. Why would a mother do something like that? That just doesn't make sense. Oh, I know Terrie. No, you know the false self Terrie. You don't know Terrie.
Well, Kelly, these allegations are clearly tearing this family apart, right? I mean, you would expect that, right?
Yes.
You understand the gravity of these when you make them.
Yes, very much so.
So how are you so sure that your mother molested your daughter? How are you so sure?
Well, for one, I've known my mother my whole life. I'm 31, and there are so many things. There's too many things. Too many things that all point in the same direction. When I found this out about my daughter, it literally made my whole life make sense. And it fell into place. My daughter, when she first came to me, there was some cognitive dissonance and denial within me at that time, and it took me some time to come to this awareness of the full spectrum of all of the red flags and everything like that. But I mean, my daughter has come to myself multiple times with different various things. I have become aware of how my mother did it, how she groomed them, the words that she would have them say, "I love Mimi," and "I love Mimi's house," and I remember she did it in home daycare, and she would prep. She would ask these questions to the kids all the time, and she was always practicing them, and so it was.
So you think she's a serial molester?
Oh yeah.
So not just your daughter, but she's got many victims.
Yes.
And do you have any irrefutable proof other than just it made your life make sense, other than words that you think were grooming? Do you have anyone that has come to you besides what you say your daughter has said and confessed later in life that this happened to them? Do you have any evidence? Has she ever been charged? Has she ever confessed? Has anything ever happened that you can point to?
She was not charged. She was not confessed. It was her guilty actions specifically that really brought the true awareness of everything to me. I believe right now this is...
Okay, let me stop you, because I'm not asking for awareness.
Yeah.
Listen, what you're talking about is a crime,
right,
and it's punishable by imprisonment. And in America, taking someone's liberty from them is a very high standard, as well it should be. And you're accusing your mother of a crime, and if she is guilty, she could and should go to prison. And you don't put somebody in prison over an awareness. You put somebody in prison over evidence. Do you have evidence?
As far as physical evidence that could hold up in court, I am not aware of if I have enough evidence for that or not. But what I do have is audio recordings of my daughter basically saying she did it numerous times. And also I have her guilty actions, behaviors that are extremely contradictory in the smear campaigns that she had launched against me as a result.
Well, smearing you
right,
and molesting, being a serial child molester, are two different things. Now, you have not spoken to your mother in 1.5 years, correct?
Correct.
Ever since she kicked you out of her home.
Correct.
For making these accusations.
Right.
Well, that ends today after the break, because she's here, you're here, I'm here, and it's time this comes to a head, because I take these allegations very seriously, and I intend to get to the bottom of this. We'll be right back.
I found a spiritual guru. I decided to go to one of his retreats. It was basically him putting everybody in a trance.
I told her, I said, that really sounds like a cult.
I did do mushrooms before the retreat.
24 hours after she returned, she's accusing me of the most horrific type of accusation.
Stephen Rakowski has pleaded guilty to child sex charges.
Video and photos of the assaults were discovered on his cell phone.
Larry Nassar admits to sexually assaulting young women and girls. He pleaded guilty to 7 counts of criminal sexual assault, with some victims as young as 13.
We heard from roughly 30 women today on top of the 150 we heard from last week.
He was the physician to the Olympians, the healer of gymnasts. He was running on his own sick and twisted agenda.
Many struggling with the fact that their beloved and trusted friend ended up being their abuser.
Okay, that is news footage of a few of the most despicable child molesters arrested in recent years. And Kelly, you're saying your own mother is on a par with those disturbing individuals. And this is the first time you've been in her presence in a year and a half, correct?
I actually went over to her house for Christmas 2018. I just didn't talk to her. I just conversed with other family members.
You went to her house?
Yeah.
And y'all didn't speak during that time?
I went up, I said, thank you so much for coming, and she turned her back on me and walked away.
Uh-huh. And how do you feel being with her now?
It's interesting. This is the first time that she's held eye contact with me in this way.
Kelly, that's a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
You say that she molested your daughter from May of 2014 until May of 2017?
Yes. Yes.
So
I was the major caretaker because you weren't taking care of her.
You said that she molested your 5-year-old daughter, but this stopped in May of 17.
It's when she went to Sedona, Arizona, and came home 24 hours later and reported me.
So basically, in May of 2017, my daughter was laying in the bed with me, and she asked me, she says, "Mama, do my butt." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She lays down, she gets on her, basically, on her elbows and opens her legs to me, and she says, "Do my butt." And so then I did a police report.
Well, there's a police report.
Yes.
Perhaps it's more succinct. Let's look at the police report. Report of sexual assault of a child named Terrie blank, involved persons, Kelly blank, data entry, date 5/16/17, LVBT, received a call report advising of a possible sexual assault of a child, may have been sexually assaulted by subject 1 at subject 1's residence. Now, case status closed, disposition unfounded. Now, you said that this came to light after you returned, and you returned because you had been away. You went to a retreat, correct?
Yes.
Let's take a look.
So about 4 years ago, I found a spiritual guru. I started following his work. After watching numerous hours of his videos, I really started to embody his teachings. I decided to go to one of his retreats.
I told her, I said, that really sounds like a cult. Have you heard about Jonestown? And I don't think that you should be going.
At the Sedona retreat, he was talking the whole time, and it was basically kind of like him, putting everybody in a trance. He kept saying, remove location, go to the absolute, go with the one infinite creator. At that point, I was kind of under concern that it was a cult. I started seeing devil faces in front of his face. I did do mushrooms before the retreat. During that experience, I actually even looked in the mirror, and I saw my eyes were dark, and I felt actually like a sociopath. I literally had the thought I feel I could murder somebody right now and not feel a thing. I was talking with this woman, and she seemed to be speaking in Charlie Brown language, just mama, mama, mama. I saw these two white beings. They were looking at me. The events of the night just led me to this place of questioning if I was abducted and impregnated by an alien.
She's experienced some very strange happenings since she has returned from Sedona. 24 hours after she returned, she's accusing me of the most horrific type of accusation. She's blasting out on her Facebook page about her covert, narcissistic, pedophile mother. I just can't believe some of the hateful things that she's been saying. If anybody's a narcissist, it's Kelly.
Okay, and when you come back from this retreat, where you say you did mushrooms at the retreat?
That was before the retreat.
And while you were at the retreat, you had visual hallucinations?
I had experiences.
Well, you said you saw things.
Yeah, I had experiences.
And you said you lost your compass in that you became a sociopath. You could have killed somebody and not cared.
No, I definitely did not become a sociopath. I had a feeling of emptiness inside. This was at the shroom experience, and so before there's
like a sociopath, you could have killed someone.
So that was a thought that ran through my head. You know, kind of like you have a thought of like, oh, I could commit suicide like right now and not care. You know, like I don't know if you've ever thought about that.
No, that's
but then it's a passing thought, and then it doesn't happen.
After that, you decided that she had molested your daughter, you, your sister, and your sister's daughter.
Yes.
Okay, so see, that helps me because that gives me the opportunity to do what we call collateral contact, because I can talk to your sister and find out if in fact she was molested, find out if she believes her daughter was molested. Kelly's sister Caitlin says Kelly can't take care of herself, let alone her 5-year-old daughter. She also admits she called CPS on her. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
I feel like I lost my sister and my best friend. One time I went over to Kelly's house and it was very messy. Mac and cheese sitting on the stove that looked like it had been there for 5 days. Her daughter would go and grab rice on the counter and eat it, and I didn't know how old it was. I decided that I was going to call CPS.
I do not know who is caring for my granddaughter at this time, but I do not think that Kelly is caring for her at all. Kelly doesn't work. She basically begs for money from friends and family members. I had tried to get her to be more of a mother and more involved, and I said, if you're not interested in being a mom, then maybe I should take custody. At least she would have a home, a bed to sleep in. She would get 3 meals a day.
Kelly's sister Caitlin says there is absolutely no truth in Kelly's accusations that their mother is a child molester, let alone a serial child molester. And she is, according to Kelly, one of the targets of this, one of the victims of this accused serial molester. Take a look.
I am concerned with my sister Kelly's mental health. I was caught off guard when Kelly told me that we were molested when we were kids. I don't have any memories of Mom molesting me. There's no way my mother could do this. It's very difficult to have a conversation with Kelly. She'll talk in circles. She would go on Facebook. She would talk about celebrities, and she would say, in order to be famous, you had to sell your soul to the devil and eat babies. She tells me that I am being controlled by my mom. I feel like I lost my sister and my best friend. My sister Kelly has been unable to hold down a job enough to maintain income. Recently, the owner of the house that she was living in told her she had 2 days to come up with 1 month's worth of rent plus late fees. I had told her, I said I don't have the money to give her, and she posted on Facebook to ask people for money. It was about $1,800. One time I went over to Kelly's house and it was very messy. Carpet stains everywhere, clothes in boxes and toys, mac and cheese sitting on the stove that looked like it had been there for 5 days. Coffee table would be filled, like just filled with like old glasses. Her daughter would go and grab rice on the counter and eat it, and I didn't know how old it was. I decided that I was going to call CPS in hopes that Kelly would have a wake-up call. Kelly has struggled taking care of herself, and I have concerns that she's able to take care of her daughter on her own.
Caitlin, thank you for being here. I know it'd be a lot easier not to.
Yeah.
She says that you have been molested by your mother. Is that true or is that false?
That's false.
Is it?
They had a wonderful childhood.
Is it sort of true?
It's not sort of true at all.
It just absolutely did not happen.
I believe Terrie only molests children when they're babies up until around 3 years old when they start talking. So that's why I don't. Most people don't remember it.
Yeah, I'll get back to you in a minute.
Yeah.
And you have a child.
I do, yes.
She has two moms. I'm Mama Mimi, and she's Mama.
Well, I was a single mom up until 4 years ago I got married. And so she was 4 at the time that I got married. And so up until then, I lived with my parents as well. And my mom took care of my daughter while I was at school. And
any time that you'd come home and that hair would stand up on the back of your neck, any time that she would say anything to you, your daughter, that would cause you to wonder anything
no, the
unusual?
thought never crossed my mind at all.
Nothing at all?
No.
How do you explain the fact that your sister says not just no, but hell no, that what you're saying is just absolutely not true?
So to understand what's going on here, one would have to understand the narcissistic abusive family dynamic, which I've studied. And basically, my mother is the covert narcissist leader of the family, and Caitlin is the conformist child. Caitlin doesn't know the differentiation between her mother's voice and her voice. And so my mother has, you can see it in the text messages that my mother sends Caitlin.
Kelly, I have my own voice,
and if she tells her what to do and she tells her what to say, and Caitlin carries that out.
Kelly,
She's the number one flying monkey puppet for my
Thanks for the education on that.
I have my own voice, Dr. Phil.
Go ahead.
I do. I have my own voice, and I have told you this before, that I have no problem saying.
Has never seen.
Okay, hold on. I'm talking to.
Yeah, I have no problem saying.
She's blind.
Mom, I don't like that. I don't think that you should have said that. I have no problem.
Go ahead.
I have no problem interrupting Mom or saying that I don't think that you should have said that, or that hurt my feelings, Mom. Why did you say that to me?
Because she treats you differently because you're the golden child. I'm the scapegoat.
But you just said that I don't have my own voice.
You are the golden child. You get treated differently because you give in to her false self. You do not challenge her to the point where you are facing her narc monster like I am.
You are blind, Kelly.
I am the only one who sees in this family.
You're certainly good at stringing together buzzwords, but I'm really curious if you know the first thing about what you're talking about.
Okay.
Thank you.
What would you like?
Well, it seems to me that your inability to acknowledge the individuality of your sister speaks more about your insecurity than her codependency.
No.
And I'm really wondering why you feel the need to diminish her to support your allegations against your mother.
Because it's necessary to understand the dynamics in order to really have a clear lens of what's going on. The feeling of being unworthy of love and belonging. And that's the root of narcissistic behaviors and tendencies, codependent, trauma-bonded, abusive relationships, and addiction. At the root of it is separating behavior from person. So like we have the Father who art in heaven, which is our nature.
You hold class
then,
later.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
And then we have shame.
Listen, okay, stop. If you believe that your mother was molesting your daughter, why did you continue to live there?
I needed to gather more information.
So you're using your child as bait? Closed captioning provided by I'm just a simple old country boy. Just answer one question for me.
Yeah.
If you believe that your mother was molesting your daughter,
Yeah.
why did you continue to live there?
So what happened was she automatically started targeting me.
Stop.
Then
Stop. Answer my question. Whenever I've seen a mother that truly believes a predator has set upon their child, they take that child away from that predator right now. I'm not finished. If they have to live in a box under a bridge, they take that child away from that predator right now.
And that's what
they
I did
do not
when I
continue to
was firm
live
about my
under
belief.
the roof with that predator and subject that child to that predator day after day after day after day.
I
and
agree.
that's exactly what you did. And one of two things happened.
gather enough information.
You
where I was
either
convinced.
didn't believe it, and you're just saying you did, or you did believe it, and you are a criminally negligent mother.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
After the first incidents with what I just explained in the
Kelly,
with the do my
you
butt,
didn't leave
I was
until
not.
I kicked you
there
out.
was not enough evidence to me to know either way.
Oh,
I needed to gather more information.
So you're using your child as bait?
No, I was
To gather more information, you're using your
I was
child as bait?
in the sense of denial, and I was looking to
I was watching her still.
understand what was happening. Yes.
You filed a police report in May,
Yes.
but you said you needed to gather more information because you weren't sure.
I filed a police report to investigate. What we did, because that's what you do.
Well, you're now going to teach me about police work.
We said we're concerned about our daughter, and this was the advice that was given to us to go to this place, and then they took it from there.
Let me ask you something.
Yep.
You understand I'm trained in forensic psychology. And you're telling me that you said my mother is molesting my daughter, and they told you to take that child back to the predator's home and live there another 90 days and collect more data?
No, they didn't tell me anything. It took them 2 months to come to the house to actually send an officer to investigate. She had been practicing her diaper cream story for that whole month and a half, and she had practiced it on so many people. And at this point, the big red flags for me, she never asked me what happened.
Whenever we have a guest that's coming on the show, I ask them to give me a short submission video. You gave us a submission video, and I'd like to take a look at that.
Hi. My mother contacted Dr. Phil because of our estranged relationship. I cut her out of my life about a year ago, a little bit over, because I believed that she had molested my daughter.
Why, when you said, believe she was molesting my daughter, why were you smiling?
The reason I smile is because I consider myself to be a warrior of love. And you can look at my Facebook or whatever. I have literally tracked my healing journey on there. And I'm smiling because I have that healing. And I know how to heal others now. And I would love to be able to bring that to my mother, and that's why I'm smiling in the video. I would love to be able to have this opportunity to bring her shame to light, because that is the first step in healing.
I don't have any shame.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. There have been a lot of accusations and stories told here today, but most importantly, there is a 5-year-old girl whose life is directly being affected by all of this.
Exactly.
You notice we've not said the name, I've not shown the face, will not do that. I don't want that to be part of this. We're going to talk about all of these allegations and what environment this little girl's living in when we come back.
May I explain what a smear campaign is?
No.
Okay, so they're all feeding into her narc monster right now. This is true.
Closed captioning provided by...
After the police came to visit, my granddaughter jumped in bed with me, and we were snuggling and talking. Kelly stormed into the bedroom, swooped my granddaughter out of the bed, and said, "You don't belong in here, and you stay out of Mimi's bedroom." I said, "Are you still believing that I molested my granddaughter?" And she said, "Well, potentially." And I said, "Well, if that's the case, you can potentially move out."
May I explain what a smear campaign is?
No. No.
Well, because that's at the root. This is what this whole show is about for her. It's about discrediting with the false mode of concern. That's
No,
what a smear
I
campaign
think we
is.
know what a smear campaign is.
Okay, so they're all feeding into her narc monster right now because this is true.
No, they don't even know her.
They can make up their own minds,
you guys,
Kelly.
Well, I want to add someone to the conversation. This is Dr. Charles Sophie, who is, he's a member of the Dr. Phil Advisory Board. He's board certified in 3 clinical specialties: adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and family practice. He's also the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services here in Los Angeles, which, by the way, is the largest agency of its kind in the entire United States. And I don't say often enough, thank you for serving on our advisory board, and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely, thank you.
I'll ask you first, are you concerned about this grandmother as a serial child molester?
No.
You're not
Not at all.
concerned about her? And let me ask you, are you concerned about the potential fitness of this mother taking care of this child?
Absolutely, yes.
And what are your concerns and why?
Well, I think she presents herself today. I mean, you talk at us. You won't give us a minute to emote. We can't get a breath, a word, nothing. I think you feel that if you talk, it'll squash us and we'll go away. But I'm not sure you're even there, because the video that we saw and a lot of the time that you were talking, you're vacant. And I think you did some brain damage with the drugs that you did, and I don't even know if you were aware of it. Either you have some genetics, there's some kind of mental illness within your family, or these drugs did something to your head, or you had a breakdown, you hit a wall and your daughter is suffering. You got to be able to step back and see it.
Right. I've been working to parent myself. I did not have support at all during this whole
I
time.
understand.
And that's why it spiraled out and got so bad.
You are doing the best you can do,
And
but
that she's
it's
smear
not safe for
campaigning
her.
me
I understand.
in order to discredit me. And that's what this
can't-
whole
okay.
thing is about, is
All
so
right.
that people
But
don't
time out.
believe that she's a child
Time
molester
out.
because I'm the only one
Okay,
who knows that
just
she
time
is.
out. Your daughter has to come first.
Yes,
If
my
not,
daughter
she has to be
definitely has to
taken.
come first.
And you don't want her
that's why-
taken until you give her to somebody that you love and trust till you get yourself together. You're not in your right mind 100%. You have to be able to see that.
That's why I've been working on myself. It's not about that, though, Kelly.
You may need more or different kind of help. And you'll
Well,
be
Terrie
fine.
says there are other factors that could be exacerbating Kelly's sudden change in personality. We're going to talk about what those are after the break. We'll be right back. Terrie says the woman sitting across from her is not the daughter that she raised. Terrie believes a combination of possible cult brainwashing, an untreated concussion from a gymnastic accident, drug-induced schizophrenia, all of these things might be intermittently affecting her daughter from time to time that has resulted in some different thinking, some different evaluative, critical thinking in the way that she sees the world. It's interesting to me if you do look at the timing of what's gone on. I'm curious, when you went to this retreat, and I'm not naming the retreat because I don't want to promote it.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah, so I don't want to name it at all. I'm sorry that you got involved in that. But why do you think that you were vulnerable to that?
I think it has to do with shame.
What were you ashamed of?
I was the scapegoat daughter of a charismatic, covert narcissist, and so I was shamed a lot growing up.
No, you weren't.
Okay, can you say that sentence again without the buzzwords and without the pseudo-intellectual, psychological mumbo-jumbo? I promise. Just talk to me about what you think and feel.
I think I was wanting love. You know, I was wanting love and connection, and a feeling of love and belonging.
Were you lonely?
Yes, I was definitely lonely.
If I'm trying to help somebody, and you may not think you need any help, but I want to help the whole family. I want to help everybody here.
Then I think we should probably talk about the predator sitting with us.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy to do that too.
That's the first time I've ever called her a predator, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Let's hope it's the last.
You
But
said it
I'm
on
happy to look at the whole family dynamic, because I think it all plays into it. It's kind of like I have to know where we are to help somebody, and to help you, I need a baseline. I need to know if Dr. Sophie is correct, if the neurotransmitters in your brain have been disrupted, and I would bet my front seat in hell they have if you've done some of the drugs you've talking about. Are you biochemically healthy, hormonally healthy? Wouldn't you want to know if your brain was tricking you and causing you to see threats where there weren't any, or even miss some where there were some? So what I would want to do is get a baseline and evaluate you and find out exactly what's going on. All systems, biochemically and all, and find out if there are some things that need to be adjusted. And if there are, then let's adjust them, and then let's see how the world looks to you after that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I would love to do that. So what's to be done in this situation here? I'll give you my specific thoughts after the break. Closed captioning provided by the place that I have the most confidence in the country is a place called PNP. It's a Psychoneuroplasticity Center, and it's in Dallas, Texas, and they do a multi-system evaluation. They look at everything, tip of your head to the tip of your toes, to evaluate you and give you that information. Cool. And if there are things that are out of balance, they help you get those things in balance. I will tell you this, based on everything I've seen, I see absolutely no credible evidence that you have molested this child or any other.
Thank you.
I certainly don't see that, and
Are you trying to put me in jail, Kelly?
I'm going to be.
Is that your intention?
My intention is healing and bringing shame to light, and then when we are able to have our narcissistic supply abandon us, and we are able to hold ourselves, and we're able to connect with our own self and our own shame, and then we
You
are
had
able
to
to
ask
heal.
one more question, didn't you? And I think you've been very open-minded in saying that you'll go through the evaluation and see where things are. And Dr. Sophie, if she's willing to do that, are you in a position that you don't? Can you go with that if it's immediate? That this is not reportable? If we can get that done immediately?
Yes, but we have to have a safety plan for your child.
Right.
So
and you can talk about that when we finish here, because if that gets delayed, then this has to be reported, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to Dr. Charles Sophie and the PNP Center. Remember, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe. You can do it for free to my new podcast called Fill in the Blanks. We'll see you next time.